Welcome to another episode of Into the West Comics. My name is Frank. I'm here with Sonny
Yo, what it do?
and Hot Dog.
Hot diggity dog.
There he is.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, baby.
Guys, we had a lot of theories,
Oh, yeah.
and we still have predictions. We don't know if any of these are going to ring true or not.
Yeah.
But what did you think about WandaVision last week?
Episode 3 was really cool. Really cool. I think first two episodes kind of got a little corny for me. I mean, I think that's where they were going for, but this third episode kind of flipped the script, I think. I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing a different view, maybe Sword's view on looking in.
Mhm.
I don't know. It was packed with a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of things to look forward to. I don't know, man. What'd you think, bro?
I liked it more, and I like the
Oh, yeah.
direction it's heading in,
For sure.
and it's getting gradually more interesting. But I was texting you guys about it. I'm scarred mainly from J.J. Abrams, like Lost and The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker. Anytime there's been a series or movie that set up a whole bunch of questions that was like, oh, what's this? Why is this? How's this going on? I've always been disappointed. Or when I wasn't disappointed, I was like in the minority. Like with The Last Jedi, I was super happy with everything that happened in
Right.
that.
Mhm.
But
Right.
nobody else was.
I think this show is definitely not like the other kind of Marvel stuff we're used to.
Not at all.
So it is bringing up a lot of questions. I think even from the little things like Vision's tie, and the
It's the tie that's in the Vision by Tom King, that story.
Mhm.
I wasn't even going. I was thinking of
A little callback.
yeah. I was just thinking of it has like two figures or two dots stuck in a box with two on the outside. Maybe like that's the outside of people looking in. I don't know. There's so many ways you can to overthink things.
Oh yeah.
There's so many Easter eggs just in this whole series, but
Yeah.
in the last episode especially, you get obviously Monica Rambeau, or Geraldine as she's
Mhm.
being referred to,
Mm-hmm.
starting to kind of break through this trance or whatever that Wanda is in,
Yeah.
with her reference to her brother.
Yeah. I think that was the coolest part for me. Actually,
100%.
I got chills because it did get kind of creepy. Like
It changed the tone of the episode
the
like really quick.
the music changed. Wanda was like scared but confused but pissed that like her brother's name got brought up,
Well, she brought it up,
Right.
Right.
and like she broke herself out of it for a second, and
Right.
then realized that the person next to her wasn't under her influence entirely,
Right.
and was like, "Whoa, this person's got to go."
When she slips up and she's like your brother was killed by Ultron, and it's like everything like screeches. It's like, oh, whoa, this is when it's gonna start getting cracking.
What did you say? And I think sometimes all the information we have coming in
Yeah.
kind of ruins things sometimes, not in a big way, but like I wish I didn't know going into this that was Monica Rambeau, because they told us beforehand. It was like, she's going to be in it, she's going to be this.
Mm-hmm.
This episode, which I liked, would have been more interesting to me if I realized at the end that she was Monica Rambeau, but pretty much the whole time I knew she was like an agent in there,
For sure.
and I wish I didn't know that.
Like
For sure.
months
But
prior, you knew.
there's no one really to blame for that but myself, because
Correct.
I'm looking everything up.
Yeah,
we
there's no way you can go days without reading something and
Mhm.
spoiling something. I mean, it's the internet. You know what I mean?
Well, with reference to real quickly, that's good stuff. But I was thinking about the ads. Okay, these ads that they're placing within the episodes.
Little commercials inside the show.
They're doing the change pace, obviously, of the episodes. But what do you think about the specific fact that they're using the same actor and actress for these ads? Are those two people possibly Wanda's parents?
Yeah, that's
Could they be?
That's what I heard. That's the only theory I've really heard, and I can't think of anything better to connect it. But
That could be. Like she's thinking of everything going on in her head, and she's just relaying to TV shows that she used to watch, and the
Mhm.
actors she's relaying as her parents. you
Okay,
know?
so I just want to get your guys' opinion now, and then I'll probably
Okay.
ask you after we get into 3 more episodes, and then maybe right before the finale to ask you this yes or no type of thing.
Okay. What you got?
Is this whole series that we're watching, is this a dream that's going on in Wanda's head? Is she hallucinating all of this stuff going on in this town?
I don't want to say a dream.
No.
I don't want to blame it on it being something that like fictional and something that like not tangible. I think it's happening.
Mhm.
It's her manipulating something. Even from this last trailer we just saw, Monica Rambeau's or Geraldine, she's walking up, she touches like that little energy force
Mhm.
field or
Uh-huh.
whatever. So there's something going on with that part of the town.
Well, I think they're 100% telling us it's really going on. It's just a
Right.
glamour.
Yeah.
Why there's all the glamour magazines, because the glamour is like a mystical spell.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what a glamour is, and that's why that's always the magazine that they're reading, and that's what's going on. She's put a spell over all the people in this city that's with her in there with him. And what I think, what's the character's name? Who was like cutting into the brick wall?
Herb.
Herb.
Herb. He was like, what he was gonna say is like, we're all mind controlled or something like that.
I was thinking what I do. She came here because we're all ... Like what could it be? You thought
I think
we're all
because
we're all being
we're
mind
all
controlled.
something to that effect. Yeah.
I think it's so that we're all being watched.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're under observation of some capacity. I think that a lot of these people are in sort of a trance. Remember
Right.
the Hearts when the boss and his wife come to dinner in the
Mhm.
first episode.
Mm-hmm.
She's saying stop it.
Stop it.
She's saying stop it to Wanda
Mm-hmm.
to like break her out of
Ah.
this, and then you see Wanda kind of break her,
Kind of.
little homemaker mode, and then she talks to Vision like she would normally talk to Vision. She's like, Vision, help him.
Yeah.
Like she breaks out of like whatever little reality that they're trying to dwell
She
in.
did. She did. She got like real serious.
And then you think about the girl, the lady Dottie,
Mm-hmm.
who's like the head of the PTA or whatever. Like, she cuts her hand, and then it like that takes her sort of out of her trance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think that's Mephisto.
Which one?
Dottie.
You think Dottie is Mephisto?
Yeah.
Okay.
She when it cut her hand, and her hand was the only one to show red blood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think I'm sticking with that one. I'm just putting that out there, and I'm gonna hold on to that. Dottie's gonna be the one. She was the head honcho of everything, making everybody kind of feel real strange.
Mhm.
She was there when Wanda heard the radio. That's what made her crack the thing, because maybe someone's reaching out to her.
Mm.
You know,
There's something significant about the color red.
why was
That
she
we're
the only
seeing
one?
that-
Yeah, because
yeah.
it's the only color we're seeing.
Well,
Yeah.
I think if it's not Mephisto and it's like someone way out there, I think they for sure got us. You know,
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
but all of the lining is pointing towards it being this guy.
I'm kind of convinced it is Mephisto at this point
For
because
sure.
like the two babies, which in the comics are not really hers, they're shards of Mephisto.
Two parts of Mephisto's soul.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like what somebody said, was it you that said like Horcruxes for
Mhm.
Mephisto? That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
I didn't say
Um,
that, but I'll take credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonny said it.
He's like,
He
oh yeah,
said
I
it.
did say that.
But I think I mean, who else would it be? And then on top of that, I don't think we've seen him yet. I think the Ralph that Agatha Harkness keeps talking about,
Her husband
her husband,
looks better in the dark or whatever.
I think there's two things going on there. A lot of tropes in sitcoms with like the neighbor.
For
You
sure.
never see their husband. Like
Mhm.
like the husband's always like, oh, my husband's this, and you don't see him. I think
Right.
so. It's a play on that, but also he's orchestrating stuff from somewhere within
In the
this.
shadows, in the
Exactly.
dark.
Hmm.
And then I had a question for
sure.
you, or both of you, but mainly Frank,
What up?
about the two parents.
Mhm.
So does that mean, if they are, is the guy Magneto, or are we not going to do Magneto as her parents?
I don't know.
That's interesting too.
That's a really good question. How are we going to eventually, because we know eventually it's going to happen, how are we eventually going to make this shift to introducing X-Men and the mutants
and all
and
that kind
everything
of stuff.
into this whole thing? I mean, where are we going to get this transition when it's finally going to happen?
Yep.
And a lot of people think that it could be at the end of this series. A lot of people think that we could start to get Easter eggs throughout this series, and
Oh,
then
for
maybe Falcon the Winter Soldier. We're going to talk a little bit about involving all this connectivity later on. But with regards to this series, I think it's the way that they have laid out the episodes in particular, putting this sort of cookie cutter existence,
Mm-hmm.
and then them modernizing as we go. We get a different version of whatever her reality is.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that we get that hexagon type thing
Thank you for bringing that up.
imprinted on all the episodes when
That's
they're
in
starting.
every single episode, man.
Mhm.
So there's symbolism. Marvel knows what they're doing. They
Yeah.
don't put anything in.
Nothing's an accident.
No.
So it's like a hive, basically. It could be part of a hive mind, and this town could be all serving into a hive mind.
Okay.
What did the guy who came out of the manhole the street.
Bees.
He was in a beekeeper's costume, right? So could we be getting like this perfect little cookie cutter world that she's being manipulated to hold everything else back? And then you see in the radio message, the agent, whoever's talking to him, I'm trying to remember the actor's name is Randall Park. I can't remember his name, the agent's name, but he's talking to her saying, "Who's doing this to you, Wanda?" So we know that in some capacity that she is being manipulated. We just don't know by who, and we don't know how aware she is of how she's being manipulated.
So that's
Sorry.
all. No, that's perfect because there's looking into the hexagon thing. I'm looking at like, well, hex is another word for her chaos magic. They call it hex magic. I know there's got to be something with that. They're not just showing that in every episode.
Right.
Yeah, and there's like it's crazy how much once you start talking about it, like you see the things and you're like, oh, this is my theory, and I'm like, that's probably what it is. But you're talking about the hive and stuff like that. Well, AIM, what do
Their
they wear?
logo.
The AIM, AIM, what is it an acronym for? I don't remember.
I know what you're talking about,
I
but
know
their
what you're
logo
talking
is the thing.
What do they wear? Hazmat suits, bee costumes,
Right.
beekeepers. That's what they wear.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I
it's
mean,
like,
this
is it
could be a
AIM?
combination of the two
Yeah.
between sword and AIM, because we know that Shield is essentially dissolved. We think Hydra is dissolved, but we don't know if Hydra is really. Hydra kind of has like they're involved in this some capacity too.
Dude, that
most likely
that the newspaper that they were reading, it was like 2 fire hydrants something on
A lot
whatever,
of twin imagery.
and
yeah.
it stops at Hydra, like
the lamp is 2 cherubs.
2 cherubs.
Sorry, I put my hand on the camera.
What's the kids? Timmy and Billy.
Tommy
and Billy.
Tommy.
Wiccan and Speed.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool that I think what was his name? Tommy was born first because he's the speedster. That's who got pulled out first.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So like little nods. So that's why I know these little things for some reason are being put in there, but they're not for anything. Like the stork, she tried to disappear the stork. The red,
she couldn't.
The red smoke kind of came up. Maybe that was a Mephisto kind of shout out. It's that same kind of.
It's like you can't manipulate this.
No, like I'm a part of this.
I put this in motion. You can't reverse it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the first time we saw her use her magic for something to change, and it
didn't work.
Well, one, it didn't work, and it was red smoke instead of like it being something else. So I don't know.
Okay, so and then again with the pregnancy thing, I mean, it's in the end of the 2nd episode, and then in the 3rd episode, she's 3 to 9 months
pregnant.
Time's
moving
delivery.
real fast.
It's happening really quickly. I mean, a lot of women would love to be pregnant for about 17 minutes.
Right.
If they'd all move to Westview if they could have a baby, in 45 minutes.
Right, and get it over.
That would be fantastic. But we know that that's not the real thing. I know from experience. And so, AIM, by the way, is Advanced Idea Mechanics.
Yeah.
That's the acronym for that.
And
I mean,
who is it that runs it? Is it
I thought it was Hammer, Justin Hammer.
That's what I was going to say, Justin
yeah.
Hammer.
So real quick, everybody knows Vision is not an organic being. He is a sentient cyborg mixture.
Synthezoid is what it is.
Synthezoid.
Nice.
Which they actually said the other day.
Nice. So the big red gum. Could that be a Mephisto? Hey, that's big red. Because how would he have the kids? He had the kids after he ingests this big red, gets into his system, messes him up, maybe possesses him a little bit, would say. Maybe that was an essence of somewhat of Mephisto getting inside of Vision to help the process of her to actually have these kids.
Ooh, I just thought of something that could be crazy. So you just popped this up in my head. So what if what Herb was going to say is we're all extensions of Mephisto? What if everyone is in there is not possessed by Wanda, but possessed by Mephisto? And that's why the guys at the work or the little meeting he had gave him the gum. They were like, hey, you want this gum?
Right.
And they're all under the influence of Mephisto, not Wanda. And Wanda doesn't have as much control over this as we actually think she does.
But then they're freed up to talk when she's not around.
Yeah.
Like they can sit there and talk to
each other
and talk to Vision.
Right.
Like Agnes is whispering whatever to Herb when he's cutting through a concrete wall.
Definitely having
wall.
a glitch in the Matrix.
Yes.
It gives me like what is it? Rick and Morty vibes.
Yeah.
Like when something starts glitching, you know.
Mhm.
We're definitely messing with some reality. It's not a dream. I kind of like what we were talking about earlier about this all happening within a couple seconds of Vision getting his stone ripped out of his head. Like
Yeah.
maybe Wanda stopped everything and is trying to extend living out these different like sitcom realities and trying new things, and who
To
knows
see
how
what
many
it takes.
who knows how many times she's done this before what we're seeing.
Right.
You know, how many times
Before Sword got involved.
correct.
Mhm.
So I think when we got more of this third episode, it starts bringing in all these questions. Now I'm like, okay, now I'm a little bit more interested. You know, it was kind of, for me, it was just a show that we were going to watch.
Mhm.
Now I'm like, oh, I'm interested.
I'm much more invested.
I'm interested.
Yeah, I think it did the same thing for me. I mean, I was telling you guys, oh, I'm just gonna wait now and watch it all. I can't do that.
Absolutely
now.
not.
I'm a liar. I would never do that. I couldn't wait 6 weeks to do that. It's not gonna happen.
No.
Oh, and
It's
to continue a little bit on that, these are extensions of Mephisto, or everyone's possessed by Mephisto.
Mm-hmm.
Agatha Harkness, or what's the character's name?
Agnes?
Agnes. She is the one who stops her from telling
Right.
Vision what is going on.
She says, "Stop it."
Stop it. And she doesn't want him to say this to him because Vision is the only one in there that's an extension of Wanda, and therefore Wanda might know. And then Agnes is the one doing Mephisto's bidding in there, so she's like, "Stop! Don't say anything to him."
I definitely
Stop
think
it.
we're gonna gain some insight after the episode tonight, because
sure.
they said that they have these 3 episodes set up. The way they reformatted this, a reason they reformatted this to go to 9 episodes from the original 6 was because they wanted to play out these arcs.
Yeah, and like 3 different arcs.
And set different tones or whatever to it. So we might see, I mean, at least this episode, getting this from Sword or Aim's perspective into what's happening on their side outside of the town of Westview.
100% agree with you. I think we're going to see an outside view inwards, and we'll see like present time, what's going on. We'll see some more agents and whoever else is involved with the episode. Do you think at the end, hopefully we get a whoever the surprise actor that Vision wanted to work for, I hope it's Mephisto.
He wanted to work with the actor Mephisto?
He wanted to work with the
With
actor
the actor that's playing Mephisto.
whoever's going to be playing him.
I just couldn't think of
kidding.
the actor's name.
Right.
Do you think, because this is supposed to lead directly into the next movie, do you think we're going to get a Doctor Strange cameo?
Good.
What if the Beekeeper's Doctor Strange?
That'd be interesting. I think
Trying to connect
the
to the
actor
universe or
that he's
something,
trying to work with, that he's saying that he's so excited about working with, is Benedict Cumberbatch. I think
Has he not worked with Cumberbatch yet?
because
He hasn't been in
Vision and
Then
Doctor
definitely.
Strange were not on screen together.
Definitely.
So
then.
I think that's who he's talking about. That's my opinion.
That'd be really cool.
And that would explain why I said this about Mark Hamill with Star Wars and I was wrong. But maybe that's why we haven't heard about a casting for Mephisto not like another actor coming in, because the actor he's talking about is already in the MCU. So we wouldn't hear about another guy getting onto the MCU. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, because what Ethan Hawke is the villain in Moon Knight, they have the money to get whoever they want.
Anybody they want. They can borrow the DC actors and use them for stuff.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter.
Fan cast Andrew Lincoln Mephisto.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
I think it would be pretty cool just to see Andrew Lincoln in some form. They were actually talking about it today. He was on some daytime
The
show.
View?
It might have been The View, like on something on Skype or
He was
whatever.
on Wendy Williams.
He was definitely not on Wendy Williams.
Okay.
And he was talking about they're doing the three movie trilogy with Rick, and they're gonna kill him off in the third one. He did die in The Walking Dead. Spoiler alert! Long time
Oh
ago.
Man.
In the comic at least.
Oh, bro.
But
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
so I'm interested to see what they'll do. He hasn't been doing anything.
He would be great.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of other Mephisto actors, but I would just like to see.
There's a lot of people that they could bring in, and right away you're thinking like Giancarlo Esposito, who obviously played Moff Gideon. I mean, he could play.
Could be a really good villain in
He could be
Marvel.
Doctor Doom. I mean, he could play all kinds
He
of
would be
different.
an incredible
He
Doctor
could
Doom.
play. Wow. Okay. I didn't hear. That's a
That
good
would
reaction.
be
I didn't know I was gonna
good.
get that
That
kind of
was
reaction from you.
It
good.
was great.
That's
Yeah,
good.
He could be good at playing Doctor Doom.
Really good.
I'd be all about that. And I think that Michael Fassbender, who's played Magneto, obviously in the newer X-Men films.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could be considered for Doctor Doom as well.
I got something cool too. So there was. Let me get this real quick. So, what's the actor who plays Kylo Ren?
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver. Okay, hold that. They are doing a Harry Potter series, HBO Max. I love Harry Potter. A younger version of Snape.
I did not know that until you just said that
That
you
would be
liked Harry
really
Potter.
good.
A younger version of
That
Snape.
does kind of surprise me that you love Harry Potter, but
Oh yeah, dude. Come on, man.
Bro,
but no,
I didn't
he
know
would be
that.
he would be a great Snape. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
A confession, I've only seen one Harry Potter movie.
I've only seen one episode of The Office, so we're
Okay, we're even.
we might have to move this table.
That's fair. That's fair. I would write it down. Adam
That's a whole
Driver.
nother lore to get into. You know what I mean? Harry
Yeah.
Potter is that was quintessential. I was reading that. He's like writing down, have to read Harry Potter or guys will hate me.
Not have to read Harry Potter. That's probably not going to happen. Have to maybe watch the Harry Potter movies.
Right.
That might happen.
Yeah,
but
for
yeah, I
sure.
heard that as well. The Harry Potter series,
HBO.
That's
HBO
cool.
Max.
Adam
I
Driver is
mean,
great.
Yeah. I'd like to see him in a Marvel film.
I think it'll happen eventually. I mean, they'll probably have him involved in some capacity as a villain, or maybe they're going to redeem him and make him a.
Nah,
I don't know who they could cast him as. I mean,
keep him a villain.
okay.
I think he's I don't know. He did really good at Kylo Ren.
Yeah. I mean, Snape's not really a villain though.
I mean, he's like a dark-ish character.
I mean, he's a darkish character.
Speaking of villains,
Boom.
boom, segue.
Segue.
I wanted to get your guys' take on all these films before there was really even an MCU. We had all these different villains in these films, and then later, obviously, we have these villains that have played in this connected universe.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see who would you guys want to see resurrected or brought back in as far as the villain roles in some of these films for some future projects. We know that we're going to be getting more Spider-Man films. We know we're going to be getting 47 more MCU films and series and all kinds of different projects,
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
We think eventually we'll get more DC films that will actually make sense. So where could we be headed
They might be good.
with this? What are some ideas? We don't have to have a top three. Just throw out a couple names. I mean, some characters you'd like to see resurrected or brought back.
I would really like to see in the MCU. I think everyone really would love to see Killmonger come back.
my number one. I should have went.
But he's so good. Like,
So
He
good.
is.
Like one of the best Marvel
With Michael B.
villains.
Jordan playing him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He tweeted
of
out.
course.
He tweeted out today actually that he would be interested because they started a family thing, and I would love to see him back.
Yeah, because that was one of the few complaints about the Marvel movies is that the villains aren't always the strongest.
Right.
And I think Thanos and Killmonger really helped turn that around.
For sure.
And then
For
the
sure.
other guy on my list is Thanos. I hesitated to put Thanos on the list because, like, I'm pretty sure he is going to come back in some
Well,
capacity.
there's a
Probably.
rumor is that you're going to see him on screen in the Eternals film,
Younger.
but it's going to be a younger version
Yeah.
of him years prior to, anything else. So there won't be that connectivity,
Yeah.
but there's always a possibility.
For
Yeah.
sure. It's Marvel.
And then another guy who's kind of been confirmed is Alfred Molina as Doc Ock.
Yep.
I'd
Yeah.
love to see him back as Doc Ock.
Yep.
I got
And
that
it sounds
written
like
down,
that's what we're going to get.
We're for sure getting that.
And yay.
Stoked.
That'd be dope.
I think so too. Speaking about Spider-Man stuff, Green Goblin. When I would love to see Green
You
Goblin.
guys have already said all three of the people that I was thinking.
Yeah, right. I say Killmonger because I think it would be a really cool redemption story if they brought him back with the Soul Stone or whatever, and he ended up becoming the new Black Panther.
Yes.
They don't give it to Shuri; she's not
Some
ready for it.
redemption for him.
Some
kind of thing.
redemption story. Right before he died, I think he wanted the best. He didn't go
Mhm.
about it all the right ways. But for me, he wasn't just like a horrible villain. He just
No.
wanted what was rightfully his. So I think if he became the new Black Panther in some kind of way, that's my number one.
Hi, Auntie.
Hey, Auntie, that was the
Oh,
coolest
my
part.
gosh.
And I think that was there's a couple parts that were like not scripted, and he added some of that stuff in, which
Michael
was
B.
really
Jordan's
cool.
so good.
He's awesome.
He is. He's a great actor, and
Uh,
worked with Coogler multiple times.
I think that for number one, that would be my return. But honorable mentions, Shredder.
Shredder. Okay, yeah, that'd be cool.
With that, whatever's going on in the Last Ronin, we might get some kind of something like that. But
Mhm.
Okay, well, I had Killmonger at number 1 as well, so I'm just gonna flip this around. I want to see what actor they would get to play the Green Goblin, or potentially Hobgoblin, if they're
Yes.
going to go forward with like this Sinister Six movie they've been
Yep.
talking about for a few years. Actually, when Andrew Garfield was playing Spider-Man,
they set all that up.
they were talking about doing a Sinister
Dane
Six film.
DeHaan.
Dane DeHaan playing him. So I mean, there's a lot of different directions they could go. Obviously, Doc Ock, Alfred Molina's. He
Really
was
good.
great as Doc Ock, so I mean that would be awesome to see. Killmonger, I mean, in the sense that he was a villain, you want to see him brought back,
Right.
but he would kind of get his own sort of redemption story
For sure.
in a sense, because you could this is my story pitch. You could make the movie start off with them actually giving the title to Shuri,
Mm-hmm.
and she's overwhelmed.
Right. Yeah.
And then they discover that Killmonger is actually alive. You have all of the tribes sort of uniting. Umbaku, everybody's just kind of like coming together,
Right.
all the different tribes. And the rumor was originally, when Chadwick Boseman was still alive, they had pitched the idea of having a Atlantis versus Wakanda
Yep.
type of film, and they were
Yep.
going to introduce Namor.
Yeah, that would
They
be
could
good.
still do that, and then they could show her as being kind of overwhelmed by taking on the Atlantean army,
100%.
and then she says, "I think we should just pass the mantle. He's blood.
Right.
He's part of the family anyway. We should give him the mantle and let him lead it." And then they can set up a trilogy of the films,
Dude, this is getting really good.
having Killmonger take on the mantle of Black Panther, and you have the film end with Black Panther and Namor having a face-off. And then it's, they're moving into the third film. You take like a year off, and then you can kind of turn that into like a smaller down scale of like Civil War, or
It would be up there
Or an
because
Avengers
of the
film.
the Atlantean
Yeah.
army. Here, take my money. You can have it. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was really good.
Kevin Feige needs
I'd
to
be all
hire
about
you.
it.
That was really good.
That was.
I'm
really
gonna
good.
tweet him.
No, I
I'll just
think
text him.
I
Yeah.
think just hit him up, dude. I think the fact that we all agree on Killmonger
Says a lot.
says a lot for the character. I think a lot of fans, of course the ladies love Michael B. Jordan, but
Yeah.
as an actor, he's great. I think he fit in, because I mean the character in the comics is like some over jacked, like crazy dude. He made it a little bit more relatable.
Mhm.
How would they bring him back? I think they would have to use some type of something, like he couldn't all the way be dead, or something. That would be a really, really, really good story.
Well, I mean, they have him in this. They've said that they don't want to do any digitized version of Chadwick Boseman
Right.
in the film.
No, right.
They have like this. I don't know, like where they have all of the ancestors are sort of like in this passing area. Was like, remember, it was like all
Yeah.
The
darkish and
ancestral
purple.
plane.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So
Yeah,
they
yeah.
could have
Ancestral
Killmonger
plane.
sort of there. They could find some type of way to resurrect him. I don't know. Is it too? Does it come across as too tacky for them to resurrect Killmonger,
Possibly, but
knowing that the actor Chadwick Boseman actually passed?
I think possibly, but I think for what that is though, and I think fan service, I think for all people involved with the movie, I think that is like the only way that could work. I think that could possibly work if it was done that way. I think if it was any other situation,
And he's in.
oh, for sure, 100%.
He
Yeah.
works with Coogler on he's working on Coogler or something else. I think they've
Yeah.
got another project. I mean, after the Creed stuff.
Isn't
and
isn't he
whatever.
directing the next Creed?
I think.
Jordan is.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
Possibly.
Michael B. Jordan's directing the next Creed, or he has a project that he's directing. But I mean, or you could, at the end of the Black Panther, you could just say that Killmonger never really died, and they've had him on life support for however long,
Right.
and they've been trying to nurse him back to health. And at some point during the what they call it, the blip, when Thanos snapped everybody, he survived and he was nursed back to health, and he's slowly but surely getting ready to take over things. So you could, because like he lays on the ground and he's dead, but like you could just easily be like, he never dies.
So what if during the blip, that's what saved him?
Hmm.
When he
He-
snapped everyone back.
He didn't die fully. You know what I mean? Or like maybe he might have been on life support and he was dying, but whatever in that, what was it, 5 years that passed?
Mm-hmm.
Blip happens. He comes back. Maybe they have that 5 years of extra technology to bring, or whatever. What if he just didn't die all the way?
And he got reverse dusted
Could have been. Comes back
during the blip or the snapping is the way
the
I like
snapping. I love the snapping. That's the coolest
That's
one.
happening. Or maybe he's dying. They have him on life support. They're losing him. We're just pitching ideas to bring him back. I love it.
I know this is what's turned into.
And they snap and he disappears. And then when he gets snapped back into existence, because he was still alive when he got snapped out, he comes back fully healthy for whatever reason.
That'd be good.
I like all these ideas, and they need to listen to us and get at us, because we've got all kinds of plans for you. We're gonna plan out the old MCU Phase 6.
Yeah, surprise! This is the MCU writers' room.
Yeah.
Boom.
Thanks for
I'm
coming.
gonna get like a dry erase board. So I mean, okay, I want to flip over real quick to Spider-Man related stuff, to Doc Ock, and again, I don't have an issue with them bringing all these people in here, but for this next Spider-Man film that they're currently working on, they're currently filming this Spider-Man movie with all of these people involved. Is everybody going to get their just due as far as them having 3 Spider-Mans? Say Spider-Mans?
Spider-Mans.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I think it depends on the way they go about it. If you give like Garfield or Maguire like maybe not a whole bunch of screen time, but something important.
Important.
Yeah. Like maybe they come in, they meet Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and because a big thread coming over is everyone knows Peter Parker's Spider-Man, and he gets Garfield and Maguire to help him be like, this isn't me, you see? This isn't me.
Have a whole other Spider-Man crawling around.
That's the big part they play, and then they jump in at the end for the big action scene. And
we get Toby dancing. That'd be great too.
With the black hair.
I honestly think they will push some form of that onto this.
A little nod.
There's
to it.
Gonna be a nod if he's in it. There's gonna be a nod to
like
the
Tom
to the
Holland
thing.
might get all sad at one point, and someone says something to him. It's like, well, not like I'm gonna dye my hair black and go
start dancing or something. And that's all they need to do to
that would be
fill all
great.
the service. You know,
that would be pretty cool.
Do you think this is turning into I don't want to say the Snyder Cut effect, but do you think they're putting in too many ideas?
It's entirely possible
into this movie, and it's just going to be too much.
I do.
Yeah,
I'm still in.
I'm still interested. I'm still gonna watch it multiple times.
The Spider-Man movies have a very bad track record of doing exactly this.
Yeah.
They make 1 or 2 good ones, and then they try to put way too much into the sequel, and it gets muddled down, and the main point of the story gets lost.
Doesn't even make sense.
Because I don't know about release schedules, but we've got to remember this Spider-Man 3 movie is going to be out in December, I think, or January.
I'm not sure.
And they're making the animated sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. It's going to be coming out within a few months of that.
Which is the best Spider-Man movie.
Oh, it's
definitely. It's incredible.
Long shot.
It's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, oh my goodness.
I think it's still on Netflix. You can still catch it on Netflix.
I watched it a couple of weeks ago. I think it is. Yeah, it is still on Netflix.
It's so good.
As of 2 weeks ago, it was still on Netflix.
As soon as you say something's on Netflix and then you go to look for it, it's gone.
It's gone.
It happens every time.
I did that.
My bad.
I wanted to pose a question to you guys about the mutants, because we're talking about Spider-Man and they're bringing stuff in from old universes. Do you guys think they are going to, or want to see them bring in the old actors who used to play X-Men characters? Like, do you want to see Peter Evans? Is that his name? The guy who plays Quicksilver? Bring him back and have him still be Quicksilver.
He's for sure.
You had the name combination right. It's Evan Peters.
Evan Peters. Yeah.
Peter Evans.
Yeah.
Even
Steven.
Do you want to see them maybe pick and choose which characters reprise their roles as the mutants, and then cast new ones? Like, obviously Hugh Jackman's not going to be Wolverine again. And you were saying, we were talking earlier,
Professor X.
Patrick Stewart doesn't want to do it anymore.
Nope.
Feige kind of pitched it to him, and I think Patrick Stewart shot him down. He's like, I'm too old, dude.
Do they just say whole new slate of actors, or pick and choose what fans loved? And like I don't think Jennifer Lawrence is coming over. I think people kind of got bored of her and were like, she doesn't seem like she wants to do it either.
Sophia Turner.
She could come over as Jean
Jean,
Grey,
yeah.
but I'm more interested in seeing new actors, and I don't want any of that continuity to come over because,
But you want it to be all recast?
if possible, but I know it's kind of crazy, but
The whole roster?
See,
Alright.
I feel like 50-50 on both ends. I think it would be really cool for at the end there's like a scene where there's like a suit up of like a whole bunch of people we don't know, and like
Mhm.
we maybe see like a Blue Beast character, so we know, okay, it's
Yeah.
the new X-Men.
But then you've got to get known actors to do it.
Correct. That's what I was gonna go on the other side. It might be smart just to say like, scratch all that other stuff. Yeah, Sophia Turner, this is Jean Grey. She could say something, and it could be that Cyclops and all that kind of stuff. But that doesn't technically mean they're from that universe.
yeah, I think that's my main thing because that X-Men universe is such a mess.
it's a mess.
I was just going to say
I don't
is
want it
that
to.
the purpose of them doing a reset is that you don't go back to want to watch those movies looking for any sort of connectivity to these films because
No.
those movies were rough.
They were really, really rough. And I was watching the X-Men movies before that, and I was like, these are so much better. Like Holly Berry Storm, and when they were doing who was just the Cyclops beef between him and Logan, that
Yeah.
other Cyclops. You know what I mean?
James Marsden.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad. But I think for continuity's sake, you can use these actors that are already these characters, and you don't necessarily have to say that they're from that universe.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think in their case, I think Paul might be right that they might have to do some type of hard reset. If they want to have one that they're kind of bridging the new versus old guard of all these X-Men films,
I agree.
then you mentioned a theory about when Wanda brings back Pietro that she actually brings back
Peter Evans.
Peter Evans.
Peter Evans.
No, but seriously, I think there could be a point where she was reminded that her brother was killed by Ultron, and maybe she's like, I can do all these things. Maybe I could bring my brother back.
Mhm.
And it was spoiled, like you said. There was an actor that probably is not acting anymore that spoiled that he's dubbing his voice in Spanish. So I do think
That
we're
guy
gonna,
definitely was murdered.
that dude definitely does not have a
That
job.
voice actor is definitely he's not on Earth.
That Kevin Feige himself went to go see that guy.
He's been snuffed out.
But I think for me, I think that's the most logical thing. But who knows what direction that the show's gonna go?
That's the thing. We've watched 3 episodes. We think we're geniuses, and we have no idea what
And
direction this is going.
That's the coolest part about it is there's so much material, and there's so many different ways that this can go that I'm pretty sure it's not gonna go any way that we're thinking.
And it's super important that I think it doesn't go exactly the way we're thinking, and it's also good.
Oh,
and
yeah.
pays off well.
I think for this to be the first Marvel Studios anything in like streaming that we've gotten. And it's the first new Marvel Studios thing that we've gotten in over a year. And it's a huge risk for them to be doing what they're doing, for this to be the first project that they put out.
Yeah,
And to have it on the Plus, have it streaming.
for sure.
We kind of have an idea that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to, I think it's going to have the feel of a Mission Impossible Captain America
Spy
type of thing.
team up
Yeah.
type thing, action explosions.
They don't necessarily get along, which I like, because
love that.
they're always butting heads.
I love that.
One project that we've been hearing about, whether it's going to be on Netflix or Disney Plus or Hulu or in the theaters, or
if it's gonna be a movie at all,
if it's going to be out
At
at
this
all,
point.
we don't know, is Black Widow.
I got the socks on.
And I know, and I wrote that down. Sonny has his Black Widow socks on.
I'm wearing Black Widow socks.
We made a note.
Told him to get his leg up there, but
I can't,
apparently he
man.
can't.
What is our
You need to stretch
expectation
more.
at this point? At this point in the game, because we are about 3-4 months away from when the new date was released.
If it gets pushed back one more time, it'll be equally to New Mutants getting pushed back,
It's May 7th.
quote unquote.
And when was
Do
the
we
original date it was
see
supposed to be?
Black Widow out on May 7th?
No way.
No.
No way.
No.
What would lead you to believe we will? Like they keep bouncing it around.
I don't know how they're
I think
going to keep
it was supposed to
pushing
be
this
out like
back.
months ago.
Yeah, it was September
No, it was originally
of last year.
It was originally a year ago.
Yeah,
Was it that?
I
long?
bought tickets to see it in May of 2020. I was going to take this guy, and we're going to see Black
Yeah.
Widow. Well, I had like 4 tickets to go see the
That's
Galaxy.
crazy.
I returned my tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, clearly. Jeez.
No, I used them.
I sat there
I
and I
was
was
in
like,
the theater
when's
by
the movie
myself
starting?
with a garbage
This is
bag
weird.
of popcorn.
It's weird. Why are they making me put a mask on?
I think
Dude.
who are they saving in this movie? What are, like, other than the fact that Scarlett Johansson is not going to make half of the money that she thought.
Okay, crazy pitch here.
We don't do any of those here, guys.
Taskmaster.
This is the first one.
He's
of the
got
night.
a shield. He's throwing it around. He's a different universe version of Captain America, and that's why they won't put it out yet.
Ooh. That's pretty good.
What?
I don't know.
That would be dope.
I was going to say it's Natasha. It's a different form of Natasha. She sends back, she trades places or something, and maybe so that version dies and she doesn't. You know what I mean?
And that she takes the replacement version of Natasha takes her place in the Marvel
Universe.
proper.
But wait, there's more.
Oh boy! All right,
Okay.
Billy Mays.
I'm
What
all
if-
ears.
what
Black
if-
Widow socks.
Dude, yes, dude. I thought about this
Yes.
one. I thought about this.
Yes, dude.
The blonde sister that's in there,
Yelena. Bowler socks.
her. There's
Mhm.
a scene of them both laying on like a table, and it shows like her face really kind of odd and really quick. Maybe it's like a digital remap. What if they trade places, and that's the reason Natasha Romanoff ends up with blonde hair, has the same vest as this other chick, and is going into the whole thing. What if they trade places in some form?
And she's the one that dies at the end,
And
and that's why. I almost said Scarlett Johansson. Black Widow wanted to make sure
Natasha.
she was the one that died because she knew if Hawkeye died on that hill, that version of Black Widow
tell me
didn't
more.
actually love Hawkeye. So she knew if Hawkeye was the one that died, it wouldn't work and they couldn't get the stone.
Oh,
Dude,
snaps!
you just made me want to go buy some Black Widow socks.
That was really
Or some
good.
Hawkeye
I hear
socks.
Sonny's got some.
No, I got some for you. No, that's
no,
really
like,
good.
that would be crazy. And
because it would make sense, and
Yeah.
they could throw back a scene to Endgame or whatever, and be like, hey, they got the stone only because she had to kill herself. It wouldn't work, and explain the whole theory behind that.
or just at the end, it's like at the end of the movie, it's like I'm taking your place for a little while, Natasha. Taskmaster puts you out of commission. I'll
Mhm.
take your place with the Avengers. I mean, we've seen that facial
Yeah.
change stuff in the Winter Soldier. It's there.
I think the whole reason why
Yes.
we don't have Black Widow out yet, and the whole reason why it might be delayed again, and I'm going to cry in May, is because of the post-credit scene. It's
What?
whatever they're trying to put out in the post-credit scene to start building. Remember, the MCU films and series and everything, they're telling you one ongoing story. They're
Yeah.
all telling you a little piece
Mhm.
of what's going on in the overall story.
Right.
And I think that there's something significant in one, or I think there's going to be 2 post-credit scenes, but I think in one of or both of the post-credit scenes, they're trying to tell you some story of what's going to happen next, and they have to stay in this sequential order. And that's the issue that Disney and Marvel Studios and Plus all have in front of them, is keeping this connectivity in their timing
You have to.
because of the projects
have
that
to.
are being completed or are already completed, Paul, is that they've got to have it connected or they're shooting themselves in the foot because you can't keep delaying just for the sake of delaying it. And I think that's why on May 7th, it's going to be on Plus
Has to be.
simultaneously when it's in the theater, and we'll go watch it in both
I don't
places.
think that's the question. I think it's gonna be on Plus no matter what. It's whether it comes
For
out
sure.
on theaters as well.
I think because it was said if they push it back one more time, it pushes the schedule for all of the rest of the Marvel movies. They can't push this back. It
Well,
has to release.
because it's a Disney property now, because Marvel is connected with Disney, they have other schedules. They have to put out the Pixar film or
Right, and they don't
the
wanna put
Disney
something
animated
out-
film or live action.
Raya and the Last Dragon is going to be coming out. What if they put some? They don't want to compete with themselves.
Yeah, and
they
that
want
got pushed back a year already too.
right. They want the most money. It's Mickey Mouse over there. He wants the most money on all of that.
Mickey wants his money.
Mickey wants his money.
That's right.
I'm curious as to what that post, because I think you're right. I'm curious as to what that post-credit scene could be, and if it's so integral to the Black Widow film itself, why can't it be moved to the end of a different movie? Because we've seen movies where the post-credit scene is completely different characters
Oh,
from
yeah.
completely different movies.
For sure.
So what makes it so integral to keep it on the end of Black Widow and
Well-
not just say put it on the ends of Eternals when it comes out?
Do
Or
we
maybe it
know-
leads into Eternals.
It might be. Do we know for sure that WandaVision was always supposed to be the first series?
No, we don't.
Because we know what it's going into, and they've bought themselves time because
sure.
we know that Doctor Strange 2, still doctoring, is going to be out later on down the road regardless. We know the
Right.
Marvel films are going to come out, and Doctor Strange is not one of the next 2 or 3 Marvel films to come out. So them putting out WandaVision with the extra episodes, they reformatted it to make it 9 instead of 6,
Which I'm grateful for.
putting the
too.
post-credit scene and putting the post-credit scene at the end of that buys them time because
yeah.
it's already connected and we know what it's going into.
For sure. I think the ending of this is gonna be what the beginning of Multiverse of Madness is.
Yeah.
I think the Multiverse of Madness, I think what we are actually seeing is maybe Wanda's the villain of Multiverse of Madness.
Could be.
You know, what if he's like, you started something you don't even know?
Mhm.
You know, like
Right.
you opened up the doors for everything to come in. You open up the doors for your kids, but that's Dormammu. That's all kind of stuff that you just opened up the doors for because you were selfish and you wanted your kids.
And
You
she
know?
subconsciously is the one that I think is going to be bringing in all of the mutants.
100%. What if it's no more mutants and it's like, bring on them mutants? It's like
Is she going to say it
like that.
I
Bring
hope
on
so.
damn mutants.
You know what I mean?
It'll be in the 80s episode. The 80s
on them
sitcom area.
mutants.
Yeah. Bring on them mutants, man.
Wow.
I think we're gonna get a what is that? Because she said, "Did I do that?" in the last episode when she was talking about the what's it called, the butterflies turning real and stuff.
Mhm.
I think we might get a Steve Urkel callback.
And that's like a whole nother can of worms. She's out here giving life to inanimate objects. Like her power is crazy, and she can do any number
Yeah,
of things.
man.
Guys, I mean, I think when I call you or text you guys tomorrow morning, we're going to have a bunch of different theories about
Woke
what
up to
direction this is
35
going.
text messages this morning. So
Sonny said,
Oh, really?
I don't know what happened, but yes.
Paul and I and Donovan had probably, yeah, like you said, about 30. We had gone back and forth for a good 45 minutes.
yeah,
And Sonny's like, hey, I woke up. What's going on? Okay,
Yes.
yes, I agree with whatever's happening.
whatever's happening. Yes.
Guys, we have, as far as releases this week, we got more Future State books.
Yeah.
We have more King in Black. Paul has started.
Ooh,
uh,
got on
jumped
the
on the
train.
King
started
Black
down that
train, yep.
avenue of King in Black. He's not going to commit to the tie-ins. I think
Oh,
he's
heck
probably
no,
he's probably
baby.
thankful for that. Maximum probably won't be thankful for that, but you're thankful for that. There's a
They're
lot.
thankful for me and you and
There-
I think
yeah, they are.
Frank and I keep them in business.
There are a lot of tie-ins with regards to the King in Black. What are some other books that you're looking forward to reading or checking out, Paul?
I'm really hyped on the King in Black after having read that first issue. I got the second and third one sitting at home, and I think it's the first thing I'm probably going to read when I get home tonight.
Nice.
And,
It's pretty great.
and then I'll crack into the rest of Future State. And I am also rereading Scott Snyder's, after I catch up on all my new stuff, going to start rereading Scott Snyder's run on Justice League.
Sick.
All right. I like
Super
it.
sick. You just hooked me up with Dark Detective.
exactly.
The Dark Blue Blue.
I'm super stoked on that. But Superman versus Imperious Lex.
Yeah.
This is the one I'm stoked for. He's running a planet under a red sun, so Superman can't do anything there. And if he does, they're on the same even playground.
I'm interested to see what you think. I mean, those are the only ones I read
Okay.
of Future State for this week. There were a few more releases. Suicide Squad, the new Aquaman series. We'll see. I mean, it kind of scanned through a little bit, but
What you told me about the new Suicide Squad lineup was really cool.
Yeah.
for that one, the new Suicide Squad series that'll be starting in March. The lineup sounds really cool. Could be tying into Peacemaker, probably getting his own HBO Max series. The fact that Peacemaker is going to be part of that team.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. As far as the stuff that I've been reading recently, I mean, Future State's been great. King in Black. I mean, guys, I have so much boom to get to.
Much boom.
And we want to take this time to make sure that we mention that coming in the entire month of February,
Yeah.
it's going to be Show Us Your Booms month.
Yes.
Every week on our our episodes of Into the West, we're going to do a segment dedicated to Boom Studios
Yep.
and
Well deserved.
one or two titles
Yeah.
that Boom Studios is featuring. They've got so much good stuff. Ross Ritchie and those guys, they're doing
Amazing.
such an incredible
Berserker.
job. And you know what? It's not a secret anymore.
No.
Okay.
No way.
They're here and they have big name writers, guys like Tinian and Al Ewing,
That's crazy.
Tom Taylor.
I didn't know Al Ewing.
Oh, dude.
Al
That's
Ewing
all
is
the-
writing
all
Will
the
He Find Them When They're
artwork-
Dead.
All the artwork is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Karen Gillan on Once and Future. I mean, the books are so good. So we're going to be spending the next month, every week in the month of February, we're going to be spending some time talking about Boom Studios in particular and the different titles that they're featuring.
Absolutely. I think everybody knows about the big two. It's kind of like, Burger King and McDonald's, but there's a bunch of everything out there.
Yeah.
Marvel and DC are incredible at what they do.
Mhm.
But there are guys out there that are doing crazy stories that are bringing these characters together. And I think a lot of what Boom does is it's not all superheroes, and it's mostly other. I mean, they have their moments. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
if some people are a little bit skeptical about the capes, you get in to pick up. I mean, Something's Killing the Children was an incredible story. I think that's what got our first couple episodes going.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I think with talking about them and getting their credit in where it's due, I'm really stoked. There's a ton of other titles to look out for, so we'll be talking about that.
And a
for
pretty
sure.
big announcement that we're going to get into next week about a certain IP that everybody is very interested in that has partnered with Boom Studios. That's a big deal, I think, for a lot of different people coming up in April. So we're going to be talking about that, and we're excited about next week. Paul, what do you want to tell us before
I
we
want
go?
you to tell you to go out and get some Boom Studios comics so you can be up to date with what we're going to be talking about in February, because Boom Studios is for real. Boom Studios is for real.
That's true. True that.
Yes, it's going to be Show Us Your Booms month
Hashtag show us your booms.
Get
all
the
through
booms,
February.
Show us your Boom.
Next week, we'll be talking about Something is Killing the Children. That's going to be our segment for next week
There it is.
with regards to Boom Studios. Guys, go read some comics.
Hold the line, boys. Get GameStop.
I'm
Hey,
surprised we
Auntie.
went that long without saying anything about it.
I had to. Thanks, guys, for everything. Like and subscribe. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Boom.